we are going to start right here in the lobby. Actually, we'll have a big gathering space in here, but you know, so because it's a paranormal party at the same time. We'll have the tarot readers will be in here. We'll have the Ghost Story Project set up in here, which is a video magazine. People can tell their story, but gathering in here. Then we hit downstairs.
Second floor, men's clothing.
One-way brothel to hell. And this exit actually takes you into the basement area. Cassie was moving some like ladders and some deco out and saw a blue light in the hallway hovering and moving out this way. And the sense that she got was that something was trying to move her out of the basement area. In this area, when we were doing some research, one of the things that myself and another researcher had happen, we were taking some electromagnetic field readings, and the baseline was pretty much the same for the whole building until we walked out of that doorway into here, and our baseline on the meter that we were using was about 30, and when we walked in here it spiked to 160, and the feeling and the sense in here was very, very oppressive. And we head in here. We actually start in this old machine room. Very atmospheric. When Jason was working in the building, he and a buddy of his used to do some amateur ghost hunting whenever they had a break. Yeah. They were down, the two of them were down here in this area, just sort of hanging out, seeing if anything happened. And I believe he was around in this area, and he heard what can best be described as a growl. It didn't sound human, it sounded more animal, but there was nothing down here to make that kind of noise, and it startled them, so they did the smart thing and left. But it's a haunted history tour, so we're going to talk about when the theater opened in 1928. This is our next destination. We call this the ladies' room. This is probably one of the paranormal hotspots here in the theater. People in this area, when they're working in front of the ice machine and when they're working in front of the washer and dryer, they report feeling tapped on their shoulders, so touched, hair tugged, faces maybe, you know, people feel as though there's a spider web or something. There are cold spots that are reported in this area, and it's all right in here, as if something is trying really hard to get your attention. We had a lady in that was sensitive, and she was just getting a feel for the space and got a sense of several female presences. And I have this handy-dandy iPhone app, which I'm sure is highly scientific, that records any kind of EVP, electronic voice phenomena in the area. And in this one area, we got 3 women's names: Lenore, Lynette, and Roseanne. So that's why we call it the ladies' room. Almost like there's a gaggle of women trying to get your attention. From here, we go up to the heart of the theater. This is Dixie's story. One of the most common reports of paranormal activity. Like if you Google haunted Riverside Theater, this is one of the ones that you'll usually find. So from here, Dixie and a buddy were moving a ladder from one end of the stage to another, and were kind of grumbling. And about halfway across the stage, they stopped dead in their tracks because they heard the sound of footsteps. And it was very clear, heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. And it made them stop, and they could not, there was nothing on the stage to be making this sound. I talked to a former electrician by the name of Mike. Mike has done contract work here on and off. He was up there on the catwalk and saw Zook out of the corner of his eye and asked him if he would bring him another weight. And as soon as he asked him if he would bring him another weight, he could hear Zook calling up from him from down here on the stage, saying, "Are you talking to me?" Yeah, he thought there was somebody up on the catwalk with him because he actually saw. Now that's a report that we do get in various places, is shadow figures in this space, in the theater. Shar noticed a shadowy figure darting around over in this little alcove, and just got this sense that she should go over and check it out. So she came over to check this space out, and I, of course, went with her. As we chatted with it, we got the impression the impression was of someone keeping watch and wondering what we were doing here. Now, there's a theory in the paranormal investigation community world that the presence of running water can help energize paranormal activity. A number of the stories that we have, I think more of the stories that we have to do with that side of the theater. Our next stop is actually right here. I call this PJ's Hall. When Jason worked here at the Pabst, he was one of those lucky guys that got to bring his dog to work with him. And his dog's name is PJ. Okay. Frequently, the last person to leave. To get out, you go out this back door. Jason and PJ were walking up the stairs to head to the back door and leave for the night, and got about right here, and Jason heard in his ear somebody go, "Hey!" audibly. And it was loud enough to terrify the dog. The dog just flattened down on the ground and would not move. I think you said you had to pick him up to carry him out. Yeah. But PJ is tough, and he came back, and he's a sweet dog. There is a former employee who claims that he has seen a gentleman sitting in one of these seats right in here, and the gentleman sitting there by himself at odd times is reported to be wearing a top hat and like a greatcoat. Okay, we're going to go up to the 3rd floor now. I forgot about that.
Charlie in the box office.
Charlie in the box office had the water turning on.
Just full blast. He was in the stall.
Next.
I don't know if you want to say the stall.
Well, he was using the facility. It's Shaggy. All right, now I can tell you the story in the bathroom. What happened?
I was going to use the bathroom in the basement one day, and I went from the box office
Going down the bottom.
the lobby doors, and I go into the lobby, the lights above me turn off. I go into the next portion of the lobby, those lights turn off. I round the corner down the stairs, those turn off with me. And I go into the men's room in the basement.
Right.
And those lights turn off. As soon as I walk in there, the lights just sort of followed me. And
Oh,
I couldn't get
my
them back
God.
on. Which I guess the controls are on the 2nd floor.
But Jason was standing at the sink washing his hands, and this door was closed and that one was open. And he saw this door push open. It goes this way. So if somebody's pushing it, you're going to see that human. There was nothing there pushing it open. Now, I think Jason had been working here for a few years now and had hit that point where he just had it. So he did what a lot of people wouldn't do, which is run after it. So he comes running out here, looks, nothing, looks, sees a figure darting from left to right, going up the vom out into the balcony, tears around the balcony after it, and there's nothing there. It disappeared. Susan, who also worked in this office, had a wee paranormal experience in here once too, was in here by herself, and she heard the rattle and then looked over and could see the doorknob moving. But as you can see, there's a huge gap right under there. And she says that she couldn't see any feet underneath it, and it really kind of freaked her out. So just up here to the 4th floor, and then up into the light booth. The story in the light booth is also of a prankster spirit. At the end of a show, whoever the electricians are that are working up here, running the follow spots, etc., would be done. They'd shut everything off and lock everything up and get down to, all the way down to the stage. Because I don't know if you remember, I told you, that's the way you get out if you work here. You go back behind the stage and there's an exit into the alley. On more than one occasion, the people that had climbed down 4+, well, we were on the 4th floor, so technically we'd be like about the 5th floor now. The people that had just climbed down 5 floors would look up and see a light back on in here. So they'd have to climb back up here to turn it back off again.